G'day everyone, thanks for tuning into the channel and checking out this 2-night adventure ride. Look at this glorious sunshine. Don't let it fool you though, because we are not here for the sunshine. We are here for a nice juicy snowstorm. And that snowstorm is predicted to turn to absolute shit Friday morning and snows down to 800 meters. I have a camp spot at 1100 meters. Now I went to that camp spot earlier last week to suss it out to make sure it had good, clean, safe access, wasn't too many trees down. So a bit of wood prep for this snowstorm that's coming a week today. So what I've done is I've come up obviously a week early, brought up my Makita electric chainsaw on the back of the bike. Snow down to 800 meters at this stage, and it looks like that might drop even more. What I've done, I've harvested up a heap of timber with the chainsaw, and I've just stashed it up in here, hid it under all these logs. Just make it a bit idiot proof, but there should be enough timber in there to survive a nice snowstorm. And we're starting the trip off on Paul's Lane. Now I've just had a look at the start of Paul's Lane, which you can sort of access from the Hillsville Road, and the first section is a pretty gnarly steep rocky climb, and I am loaded to the teeth with gear, and I'm very, very top heavy, and I had a glimpse at it and I was like, nope, we are not gonna go up that, particularly when we're loaded up and it was a bit wet. Fingers crossed we get up. Let's see how we go. Hopefully not too chopped up. Oh, it is chopped up. Oh yeah, it has gotten a lot worse than what I remember it. Wow. No, we're going to struggle up that. It's turned to absolute shit. That's alright. We'll go get it from the other side. Knew it was going to be like that. We've come around the side of Paul's Lane, and it is a great track. This is one of my favourite tracks close to Melbourne. So if you haven't done it, come and check it out. Looks like they put down some fresh gravel, and there's, look at those nice little skid marks there from dirt bikes. That means it's been it's good access in and out, and also it's a good dirt bike area. So there is a couple of seasonal closure gates on the right hand side going up to the ridge that you can't access. But this track is just a good track. I like it. It's got plenty of water bars. Someone's house, good spot. And then this is where it gets fun. Hopefully there's not too much of this rock, because this rock is just not fun. Little marbles. We are really heavy on the rear. Nice rock. Ooh. You can see why they put it in. Oh, he's twitching the arse of this bike. Let's get up this. Alright, nice. That looks like the end of the rock. Closure gates. So you can access all the way up to the sort of the ridge up the top here. It's really good. Obviously, if you see those closed, they're closed for a reason, to protect it, protect the tracks over winter time. You can see how loaded up I am. I'm really top heavy. Got my water on my left hand side. Now this is the storm shelter. This is a 6x3 storm shelter, so it's not too heavy, but it's pretty bulky. So I am a little bit heavy. So this next section of the lane is really good. So let's go check it out. Good condition. It's actually nice and dry considering. All these rocks though are fun. Make things more a little bit more entertaining. And the reason why they're in here obviously is keep the track in good condition, but come fire season, they need good access to good equipment. This would be a fire break line, as you can see by all the chop. We've got the trees here and a bit of a control line. We're pretty close to Hillsville, so if a fire was coming this direction, we'll be able to put the fight to it here. Oh, this is great. Oh, it's so good. It's like springs in the air. Oh, we've got an interesting line here. We'll get back on the track. There we go. Can give the green light for Paul's Lane in winter time. As you can see, it's getting sun on it the whole track pretty much, so it keeps it dry. But keep an eye out for that clay. So you usually get a little bit carried away, you're like, oh, this is all good, and then whack, clay. Ooh, as you can see, that's still actually starting to dry out a bit. So as soon as you say it, oh, it's starting to dry out a little bit, it's actually not too bad. Example A, Tulungi clay. Oh yeah, gust out the guts. Yeah, I was doing a bit of a shakedown ride last week, and I was out past Dalesford and Hepburn Springs. It is some good riding out there. I'm going to spend some more time out that side of town, but I was getting carried away and I hit a bit of clay that I didn't see, and it spun the full bike around, did a 180. Went down pretty hard on my left hand side. Still got the dirt mark on the jacket. But you just got to pay attention. One. Oh yeah. Due for a new rear tyre. I didn't change it for this trip because I'm doing too much serious stuff, but as I say that, I'm going to go ride in the snow. But the thing about riding in the snow, it doesn't really matter. A little bit of tie grip helps, but it's slippery no matter what. So this will probably be the last trip for the Tractionator in the 701. I have gone and purchased myself a Rally Z Motos for the rear. I'll put that on also for in the summer. I want to burn it out. Ah, there you go again. See, you get carried away and then you're like, oh gosh, oh, might be helpful if I'm in gear. Don't want to muck around in that stuff. Oh yeah, that is. Whew, that's the stuff you look out for. It's that colour. With all this weight on the back, it makes it really easy to wheelie. 701 doesn't struggle to get the front wheel up. This definitely makes a difference. Don't like being on this side of the track, but anyway, we'll get back to the side here. There we go. All that wind's starting to pick up. Look at the soil change here. Feel like we're right in the high country. These sort of tracks. That's why I like this one. It's a real sort of shakedown track. If you're thinking about putting in a high country trip and you haven't really ridden much, this one's a real good one to get some experience on if you're looking for a track. I think that was Paul's dream when he came up with this track. Get yourself some experience, practice on these, then head to the high country. That was Paul's wish. Good on you, Paul, for making this lane. Almost to the top. This section here, I've just taken a right hand turn, sort of takes you up to the top of the ridge. Now you can't get down, you've got to come back the same way because of the seasonal closure gate. So those gates that we sort of saw at the bottom, this is where they lead up to, so we'll have to come back along this track. It's all good. Only doing a little bit of riding today, just because where we are and where we're going tomorrow, I want to set myself up the best way to get to that spot reasonably quickly, because if you've watched my previous snowstorm videos, it turns to shit before the snow comes, so we want to make sure we get ourselves into that spot at a good time, prep it. I've got to put the shelter up, and obviously got all that wood that I've put away. I've got to bring that all around. This is good. Look at this. It's actually got a little bit of lerner-derg about it. Where are we going here? Oh, we'll go right, and we'll go left. Nice. Cross over again. Oh yeah. Beautiful. Around it. See that hole. Around that one. See the left. Good clay. Dog hole. Good right. Let's go right. Hopefully. Still got a lot of stuff, my water bottle and stuff, but this will definitely give it a good test. Maybe it's not attached, this will make it come off. So the good thing is I've got to go back along this track, so if I drop anything I know where to find it. Alrighty, the top. Get a cracking sunset here, plenty of wood. Beautiful sunset out over there. We get too many visitors. Still a bit of riding to do. We'll keep moving. This is nice because it's going to be a cracking night tonight, so you can see no clouds, but when there's no clouds, we had a really heavy frost this morning, so it's going to get pretty chilly. So, and there's supposed to be a northerly breeze picking up, so we'll keep moving. But yeah, these I've just zip tied. These clips were coming out, so a little bit of movement there hopefully, and the stitching's starting to come away, so hopefully that won't break. But I'll get a strap and strap it up. A lot of weight on there, especially with the water on there. But there you go, that's Paul's Lane all the way to the summit, and it's a cracking track, so please, if you're looking for a good track, come check it out. Alright, we'll keep moving and head into Talangi. Well, there you go, that's Paul's Lane, or Paul's Creek track, right? Yeah, Paul's Creek Road at the top section, and then yeah, just remember Paul, and you can't go wrong. So, oh jeez, it's a cracking day. It's about 14 degrees, so the air's still chilly. It's going to be a chilly night tonight, so we'll get a cracking fire going. And this will just pop us out on the Hillsville Talangi Road, I think it's called, where all the strawberry farms are. And then we're heading into Talangi. We haven't got far to go as the sun will set, so we want to get to camp, and as I always like to do, I like to relax and enjoy the rest of the time in the bush. Talangi State Forest, the infamous Talangi. And as I was riding in, the temperatures just dropped. This is almost rainforest, that's why it's so wet in here. That's why I've really got to be mindful of the clay, as we've taken plenty of spills in this forest. That's beautiful. There's the Dandenong Ranges over there. As you can see, those ranges there, the Dandenongs, that's the start of the Great Dividing Range, pretty much. The ocean, and then the Great Dividing Range, and that goes all the way up to Queensland, so this whole mountain range. And then you can just see our ridge where we've come along on Paul's Lane there, so there's a good spot. Now we're on the southern side of Toolangi, and it is cold, it is still wet, so where I've picked is on the northern side that hopefully has got a bit more sun, and I've ridden those tracks in winter, so hopefully a bit nicer over there. But what is it? It's 11 degrees, getting cool. It's going to get cold over this weekend. I don't know why I'm complaining about the weather when it's 11 degrees. I reckon it'll get into the minuses when it snows, maybe -2, maybe -1. Now the snow camping is actually not that hard. The most tricky bit about this whole process and exercise is the ride out when it's absolutely saturating rain, because as soon as we drop out of the snow line, as soon as we drop below sort of 1,000 meters on Friday when we make our way out, it's going to be most likely pissing down rain, and that is really uncomfortable. So I'm really happy with this decision of this campsite, this snow camp area, because it's really, really close. Oh yeah, here's the road starting to get a bit greasy. So that campsite's really, really close to Buxton, and I can boot out of there and be home sort of within 2 hours and in a hot shower. There's previous snow camping trips I've gone deeper into the high country, just because there's not many peaks that you can access in the winter time that the snow gets to. There's only a handful of sort of areas that I know, and obviously the most popular place if you want to go find snow or just go riding in it after a snowstorm is up near Metlock. That's around 1,200 meters, so that's a really good spot. And up, you know, down to Woods Point, all through there. That's where a lot of people, a lot of four-wheel drivers, a lot of motorbike riders head when the snow is low. When the Victorian bushfires come through, it don't matter, even controlled burns, when that recipe is right here in Victoria. I remember it's the most dangerous bushfire place on the earth. Where we're riding through right now is, yeah, it's a ticking time bomb, and the cycle generally works on a 4-year cycle of a good burn, and we're coming up to that 4-year cycle. And these warmer temperatures that we've started to get in late winter are the signs of a warm summer, and they're already predicting a warm summer. But one positive note, when it's a drier winter, we can get out and adventure bike ride. How good's that? So if you're thinking about heading out, I can confirm in Toolangi is the guide, is the wet guide. And if Toolangi is dry, majority of the other places are dry, because this place is just a wet joint. I'm excited for summer, see what trips we can get in. Put a call out to the fellas and say, hey boys, we're heading it out. Alright, Old Wee Creek. Now I was here last year with Dan and we came along here, and this is actually the road I stacked it on. I'll show you the footage. Oh shit, there you go. Toolangi already claiming us. So yeah, we're going to go up Wee Creek and find a camp spot. So let's head up there. Alright, this is a good track and it's dry. So, oh yeah baby. When Dan and I came through here last year, I think it was July, and it was pretty wet. This is beautiful. As I say that. Alright, let's go this line. Got sun. Oh, look at that. Yeah, it's got a view. And it's got firewood. Oh, look at that. How good's this? And I think this will do us. That was good. It was a good ride in. Nothing too strenuous. Just takes a little bit to get back into the riding. Haven't been out on the bike for a while, so it's a nice little spot here. It's got a good view, and I want a nice sunset, and I reckon I'm going to get it. And the reason why is this sucker. See this big high pressure system, and then you can see behind it, look at this. That there is what's coming. and that's going to hit us on Friday morning. And see all the snow behind it. So there's actually two cold fronts. So this is the one that's going to come through sort of late tomorrow night around 7 o'clock, and that's going to rain. And then as soon as this arrives early Friday morning around 4 a.m, that should start to snow, so which is good. So we've got a good night tonight. We'll get cold. We're about 500 meters here. Bike's doing well. Geez, I love it. Even with a tire that's not, rear tire's down. See, I've still got a little wear line on it, but it's time to go. But I didn't want to replace it yet, just because I want to get the maximum longevity for summer when I need it the most. You'll also see there's an addition to the bike, and this is for my winter setup. So I found a pair of Outback Motortech rear bars that hold the luggage bars. Found them for 300 bucks. So I'm like, I might just buy those because they integrate with the top plate there. And I've got my giant loop bags, which I used to run on my BMW F800 GS for many, many years, and I love these bags. I've already started to rip them. The 701's already started to rip them. So, but because we're snow camping, as you can see how much stuff I need, it's not quite enough room in the Moscow 80s. Surprise, surprise, but these are just a little bit better, fit more in, because I've obviously got a winter tent which takes up a ton of space, a winter sleeping bag, another thing that takes up a heap of space, and then food, and then all my fun stuff. So yeah, that's the setup so far, and you know what, it handled really, really well, so I'm happy with it. But it is chilly, so it's 3 o'clock and 11.5 degrees. So 3 o'clock being the warmest part of the day, she's only going to get colder. And I've got this breeze coming up, so this breeze is going to be with us tonight. So we've got a bit of wind chill with that as well. So I think it's a good way to harden up for tomorrow night. All right, sun's setting. Let's get this fire going. First epic sunset for the riding season, straight off the bat. Tell you what, it won't be like this tomorrow night. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you're enjoying the trip. Cheers. Just hovering around 4 degrees, so got the fire in a really nice spot, putting off some really good heat. But it's now time for dinner, and I'm going all dehydrated, so I'm going really light this trip. So I've got couscous, got some dehydrated peas, got some dehydrated mushrooms, got a couple of sun-dried tomatoes, and then I've just got some tuna. Nice and light, good filling meal. Just got the water boiling here. Doesn't need a lot of water. Alright, a couple of dehydrated peas going in. Not too bad. Save on pack weight, get it in there, you'll eat it. Get it out of the bloody pack. There they go. Couscous takes a fair bit of water. Now the good thing about this meal is it's all dehydrated, so if you're going out and spending all that money on dehydrated meals, this is exactly the same. Yes, it does take a little bit longer, maybe 10 minutes longer, but the flavour, if you're in that much of a rush when you're out camping, you're not really enjoying everything. So cooking's a part of camping and part of the relaxation of coming out in the bush and enjoying it. So why not have a good feed while you're out here? Just a little bit of chili oil, 'cause it's a nice cold night.
Couscous with dehydrated mushrooms, peas, sun-dried tomatoes, tuna, and a little bit of chili oil. And that's dinner for tonight, night one. Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so the winter sleeping bag, my mat, now obviously that's thermal insulated, so that's going to stop the cold from coming through. Very handy to have. I camp with that all year round, and I've had this for a long time. It's been a really good mat. Not cheap, it's about 600 bucks, but I've had it for over 6 years now. With these cold temperatures, I'm just going to chuck the thermal liner in as well. That just adds a little bit more warmth to the sleeping bag. This will be a good test tonight. Frosty conditions, but yeah, there's the winter setup, and obviously I'm in the Hildeberg Yanu tent. This is a winter 4-season tent, so it's got a really good thermal layer in it. It does get a lot of condensation that builds up inside, but that's just the consequence of having a really good winter tent, and it holds a lot of moisture in, particularly when you breathe. So